I met you in a non-traditional environment.
Yeah, for sure.
I met you at the San Francisco tattoo convention, you know? It's not you walked into a shop.
Like I said, I had just gotten into the building trades and I was like, well, I never have to do another job interview. I might as well go ahead and start on my hands, right? Yeah. I stopped at your guys' table. That's when we met and you're like, yeah, bro, I'll do this, I'll do that. We'll hook it up. Since I met you, like, you're really on the fly. Like, you're a really deep artist. So it's already on your mind. You're already coming with it.
I wasn't even selling you a tat. I was just trying to give you a vision.
Right.
So I could sit you down like it's a swap meet. Sit down right now, $9.95. Let's do this, you know? If there was a Venn diagram, as an artist, here's my portfolio. Let me know if you're interested.
Right.
And I'm going to get back to work.
Yeah.
I'm probably on this side, right? Opposite side is going to be like, I only do this, whatever the case, and I might not fit your style. Okay, that's the comfort per se.
Right.
But the ones in the middle that are like this, stop it all and let's just talk.
But I think I've seen you at the expo like 3 times. You do 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. And same deal. Like, you're tattooing me. You're always, hey, give me a second. I'm like, cool, I need a break anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you deal with somebody, either you're dealing with another artist, another client. And I like turning wrenches, and people don't really care what you look like when you can fix things. Would prefer my mechanic to have tattoos on his face and shit.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He knows what he's doing.
Actually, the job site I'm at right now, the foreman I'm working with is tattooed from eyelids to toenails, man. Like, completely covered up. Always been a common thing where I'm at. The Marines is a real common thing, and the construction trades is a real common thing. I make a mistake working on a pipe, and I just cut a new piece of pipe and install it. It's all good, right? You make a mistake on a plane, you're talking about a $60 million piece of equipment, 2 lives, you know, like 15,000 feet above this. It's like,
that's an expensive mistake.
You can't up, right? So you get your benefits from day one as soon as you start working. Every local kind of runs their apprenticeship program a little bit differently. We start our first period apprentices out at 50% of a journeyman's rate. Right now ain't bad because journeymen are making like $70, right? It's not terrible.
That's not bad. That's not a bad hit. You can't throw a roof on without that foundation.
Right.
You get to physically see this every day on your job site. People just took that and just kind of translated it into their own selves.
Human touch is also where the problems really get fixed.
Yeah.
It's where the art really happens in the construction union work. They not just the paying benefits, but they're also trying to make sure you're going to go home with all your fingers and toes. We all got a family we want to go home to, right? A lot of non-union contractors will kind of cut corners. And the work is inherently dangerous. It's inherently dirty. You don't want to add risk on top of that. I get killed on the job site. The contractor's not going to be at my funeral telling my family how cool I was, how badass I was. You know what I mean? They're going to hire somebody else and keep pressing forward.
Yeah, for sure. What tattoos have stood out to you in the industry? What have you seen from the good to the bad?
First of all, if you have a big collection, you've got a couple bad tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're not lying to anybody, bro.
Oh, yeah. Milwaukee on the ribs?
Epa!
Bro, are you down or not?
I've seen some funny ones in construction. I saw a dude who had eggs and bacon on his hands. He said in case he got to serve somebody some breakfast, right? I saw a dude who had channel lock pliers tattooed on his fingers. He's like, yo, my hands are pliers, bro. I got the grip.
Yeah, that's like, the one you get.
Bro. There's like a negative connotation to union work. They protect lazy people. And there's a little bit of that in the industry.
They retire and then you're paying their pension.
Right.
But they don't want to tell you.
They don't want to teach you.
They kind of want to gatekeep.
Yeah, they don't want to mentor you. I'm here to replace you so you can enjoy your retirement, bro.
Keep me going.
Enjoy your grandkids, right? Enjoy your family. But like, help me out on your way out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep me going so I can keep you going.
You got some knowledge that I need, right? Constructions are very much like a stop and go type of thing, right? When it's time to go, let's go. Get off your ass. Don't wait for somebody to tell you there's shit to be done. We got work for you. Let's do something. Right?
Absolutely. There's always something to do on the job site.
Yeah.
My boy Lalo here. Introduce yourself, man. What do you do? How long you been doing this trade? When was the first time we met? See, because I have like that story recap too.
Yeah, my name's Lalo. You know, I do construction. I'm a steam fitter, union steam fitter. It's a good life, man. I like working with my hands. I've been working with my hands since I was a kid. I like turning wrenches, swinging hammers. It's a good way to earn your living. You know what I mean?
Where are you from?
I'm originally from. Well, I was born in Gilroy, but I grew up in San Jose. So I'm a NorCal kid, kind of all over the place. You know, I was born in Gilroy. I grew up in San Jose. I did 8 years in the Marines. I lived in San Diego for a little bit. Kind of been in Florida and Japan. I've kind of been all over the world a little bit. Yeah. But Cali's my home. That's where I'm from.
8 years in the Marines.
Yeah.
And you got out and you just found this trade, right?
Yeah, man. I got out and I started going to college. You know, the military service gives you a lot of like really good benefits, right? So I got to go do the GI Bill and kind of take some time off work. I've been working since I was a kid. I had my son really young, was a teenage dad. So, and I had already been working 2 years before that. So like work was all I knew.
Yeah.
And
How old were you when you had him?
Man, it was right before my 16th birthday.
Yeah, because I remember our last session we were talking about that. Yeah. And that's where I was like, last time I wish we could have recorded that session.
Right.
We were off the wall, dude.
Bro, it was an 11-hour session, man.
It was an 11-hour session. We said a lot, and a lot came out. And I was thinking, I went back and forth. I was like, should we do a live tattoo session? Which is hard because you know, I feel like this
you're running the whole show.
But no, and like if I'm tattooing you, bro, I'm focused on that, not in like the talk.
Yeah.
I need to just sit down, put everything on pause, and just talk to the homie because that last convo we had, I mean, you had your first son at 16. That's crazy. And so how'd that go? You're a young parent.
Yeah, young parent, right? And I tell people all the time, like the only thing I've done longer than be a dad is go to work.
Right.
Like it's what I do. You know what I mean? I learned very young. My folks, my grandparents were hardworking people. So like from day one, it's like, hey, you got to earn your way in this world. You know what I mean? You got to get out there and figure something out, make something happen because nothing is free and nothing's going to get handed to you. Right. So, I've been working since day one. I got out of the Marines and I didn't know what I wanted to do. What I thought I wanted to do, I had to go to school for. And so I was like, I'm going to just take a little bit of time and go to school until I kind of figure this out. You know what I mean? So I did, 2 years of college, and I found a couple of like bullshit jobs just to like pay my car note and put some food on the table, right? Yeah. And then the trades like literally just fell into my lap, bro. I did not want to do construction at all. I had a lot of friends when I was getting out of the Marines who were gonna do that. Oh, my dad's a roofer. Oh, my dad does drywall. Oh, my uncle does this and that, right? Right. Construction was like an easy backup plan for a lot of guys coming out of the military because a lot of the skills you learn there, you don't know how to translate them into a resume, right? You don't know how to sell that in a job interview.
What did you do in the Marines?
I was an avionics tech. I worked on fighter planes.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to go back to working on planes because that's a hard life, man.
Yeah,
it's a young man's game.
Yeah.
It's fast paced. It's high stress, low margin for error. You can't make mistakes working on planes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of like the liabilities, right?
Yeah. You know, I make a mistake working on pipe, and I just cut a new piece of pipe and install it. It's all good, right? You make a mistake on a plane, you're talking about a $60 million piece of equipment, 2 lives, you know, at 15,000 feet above. It's like
that's an expensive mistake.
You can't fuck up, right? So, I took the 2 years off, and I went to school, and I found kind of some bullshit jobs, and then I had a friend who had been doing construction for years. He was he's a carpenter. And he was like, dude, you should go take the test. There's a union test. They do a test every year, my local 393, it's like an entrance exam, right? It's a spatial reasoning and mechanical aptitude, and then there's a math portion. And he's like, bro, if you can read a wiring diagram, you can read a piping schematic. It's like the same fucking thing, right? And at the time, I was still kind of like, I don't really want to do construction, man. I don't know. And he kind of talked me into taking the test, and I went with 4 friends. I was the only one that passed the test.
Dang.
And I was like, man, at that point, I had started looking into it. I was like, it kind of sounds good. It's union wages, benefits. You know, a lot of the dudes that I had talked to were like, yo, man, it's a good way to earn your living. You like working with your hands. Carpenter is more like woodworking. So they do like framing, they do doors. And they do.
So you're talking about construction. You're talking about like the bottom,
like general
frame,
construction, like everything. Like I did something I didn't know too when I got in was like every piece of a building has a different trade attached to it. Like you got the framers who put up like the skeleton of the building, right? And then you got the pipe fitters and the plumbers who come and hook up water to the building. Sure. And then you got the drywall guys who come and put the actual walls up that you see inside. And then you got the painters who come in and finish it all up. Like there's a whole bunch of different pieces to it. I had no idea.
Journeyman is your apprenticeship, right?
So I think the apprenticeship kind of is attached to the specific trade.
Okay,
right?
got you.
I think you're thinking more like a laborer. They kind of do a little bit of everything, right?
Because I hear it from electricians. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, I'm a journeyman" or something, and then they go, or like the line workers and the poles and stuff.
Yeah. So what it is, you start off in apprenticeship, kind of like in a tattoo shop, right? You're following somebody who knows what they're doing, and you kind of sweeping up, and you're checking toolboxes, and you're kind of learning as you go. And then the way we do ours, we do a 5-year apprenticeship. So you're working 40 hours a week. But then 2 nights a week, you go to class for 3 hours.
Gotcha.
And you're talking specifically about construction. I got a certificate from, I think it's San Jose or Foothill College in San Jose for construction technology, right? So it's actual certificate. It's a accredited school program through the college system. And you do science, you do hydronics, you do math, it's like a legit college program for 5 years. So at the end of that 5 years, you turn out to what's called a journeyman, meaning basically you can get onto a job site and work without being heavily supervised, right? At this point, it's like they hand you drawings, this is what we want, get it done.
How's the pay when you're, because you can't get your full pay until you complete that, right?
Right.
That's kind of where you have to pay your dues, because you're like, okay, you're kind of capped before you can get the full on.
Yeah.
Do you have the benefits still, or?
Yeah. So you get your benefits from day one as soon as you start working, right? But the pay in my local specifically, because every local kind of runs their apprenticeship program a little bit differently. We start our first period apprentices out at 50% of a journeyman's rate. Dang. Which right now ain't bad, because journeymen are making like $70, right?
Right.
So it's not terrible.
It's not bad. That's not a bad hit.
$35 to sweep the floor and like clean the toolbox, like you winning, right? Every 6 months, as long as you've worked enough hours and you've completed all your schooling, every 6 months you get a pay raise. And at the end of the 5 years, you get your journeyman's pay raise at 10th period. Well, if it goes from 10th period to journeyman's, like another $3 or $4. At that point, you've made 100% of the wages.
That's crazy. So that fell into your lap because of everybody that...
The homie was like, hey, man, go take the test, go take the test.
How old were you when you started that?
Oh, man, I was in my late 20s, man. I'd be like 28, 29, I think.
Okay.
All right, so I bought my house just before my 30th birthday, and I was like my second year in the trade. So I'd be like 27, 28 when I took the test.
How was it when you started to see the difference of like this income coming in? You were just like, man, I've never seen this kind of paper.
Yeah, so it took a little bit, right? Because so when I first got in, I had just moved back in with my parents. I had been on my own for like 10 years. So it's like a big blow to your ego, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And at the time, I had both of my kids, because my ex-wife was kind of going through some transitional life things, right? So I had both of the kids full time.
Some soul searching.
So I'm living with my folks, bro. There's literally 10 Mexicans at my mom's house.
Oh,
I'm
man.
like, yo, I got to get out, right? So I ended up buying this house down the street from my folks, and I couldn't afford the fucking house.
Oh, yeah.
But I was making union wages as an apprentice. I knew I was going to get a pay raise every 6 months. So I was working overtime at the time. The checks kind of cleared. The bank worked with me. I got a VA loan, had all the benefits in my corner to help me out, right?
Yeah.
So I qualified for this house. I bought this house. I moved in, but I was in the red every month for 2 years, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a leaky boat, just losing money. But I kept the faith, right? I knew I was going to get my pay raises. I knew I was going to keep working. I knew at some point I was going to be able to afford it. Yeah. And then I could refi, kind of drop the payment. Everything ended up working out the way it should have.
Sure.
But it was tough. The first 2 years, like I was making more money than I ever seen in my life, and I was broke because I was losing money every month.
What's going on, right?
Yeah. I did a lot of it on faith, man, blind faith.
Right.
Like I knew if I just kept working and learning my trade, and you know, the money would come in, and it did. It did.
You just had to write it out, roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Deal with
I had
that.
a lot of help, man. My folks are a huge blessing. My folks have been really supportive since day one with my kids. They helped liaison between me and my ex-wife, and we weren't quite speaking so well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we get along well now. We're real civil. We're real friendly.
Yeah, that was nice to hear that last time, man, how it changed. So I met you, what year was that?
Man, that had to be 2014 or 15. Okay. I had just gotten the trades. I think I had just gotten to the apprenticeship.
Tell me about that day, because I met you in a non-traditional environment.
Yeah, for sure.
I met you at the San Francisco Tattoo Convention, you know? It's not you walked into a shop and because yesterday, actually, I tattooed a client that I met at Venice at a shop in Sideshow Tattoo. Shout out Sideshow Tattoo. At Venice Beach. I was tattooing there. I just went to go like the guest spot.
Right.
I can pop up and I would see the beach as far as years across the street. That's
good living, bro.
Yeah, that was like, this is the life, dude. I was like, I'm tattooing outside the ocean's right here, right at the shore. And yeah, she came in with her brother, her family. Her story was she was kind of picking at her brother, saying, when are you gonna get me my tattoo, my first tattoo or whatever? And I guess he's like, all right, you know what? Pick any of these shops down the strip and we'll go and get you a tattoo right now. They walk in, happen to be mine, happen to be me. To this day, the same time frame.
You're not even from there. You're doing guest spot.
I know. And she came out here. She came out here so I can finish up her arm, kind of like how we do it.
Yeah.
And so with you though, I met you at the San Francisco Expo. Yeah, that was Palace. Yeah, dude. How was that experience for you? So that day, did you just wake up and be like, I'm gonna go attend the Cow Palace?
Yeah. So I had been to a couple conventions. I had already started kind of covering myself in tattoos at that point.
Yeah.
I started in the Marines. That's even before. Tattoos are real popular now, but before it was like sailors and felons, right? So in the Marines, it was like already kind of a commonly accepted thing. So I had started kind of covering myself, and I had been to a couple of expos. I was like, hey, there's one close to the house. I told my younger brother, And I think my mom went with us. I was like, hey, I'll just go check it out.
I think so. I remember seeing you guys all lined up.
Yeah. And I was like, I might get something, I might not, something small. You know, I just want to go see what's up, just be around the atmosphere. Because the convention's always live.
It's wild.
You get some live music, you get some good food, you get a couple drinks. It's always a good time.
There's so much to see, right?
Yeah. So I went in and I had been wanting to do like a full arm sleeve on this arm. And I had already done like some patchwork. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to tie it all together.
Yeah.
Nothing kind of really matches up. I got to kind of figure something out. And like I said, I had just gotten into the building trades. And I was like, well, I never have to do another job interview. I might as well go ahead and start on my hands, right? Yeah. Fuck the job stoppers, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do the whole arm anyway. I was like, I might as well blast my hand and move up, right?
Right.
Because that's where I had the most empty space at the time. And I had been kind of like pricing shops and talking to different artists, and they're busy, right? You've been to the expo dozens of times, right? Everybody's got shit going on.
Yeah.
And I stopped at your guys' table, and that's when we met. And you're like, yeah, bro, I'll do this, I'll do that. We'll hook it up.
Yeah.
And like that's what
I think I showed you one of my books or something.
That's been one of my favorite things since I met you. Like you're really on the fly, like you're really deep artist, so it's already on your mind. You're already coming with it.
Yeah.
And so I come to you with an idea, and you're like, yo, we can do this, we can do that. I'm like, yeah, I'm into it, bro. I really, because I always have kind of an image in my head, but I'm not an artist like that where I can't really explain it. I can't draw it, but I know what I want. And you're kind of like, you're that one that ties it together, bro. You're like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. We can draw this, we can do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's hook it up, man.
I had a really, and I wasn't even selling you a tat. I was just trying to give you a vision.
Right.
Because that's a difference though too. I could sit you down like as a swap meet and be like, sit down right now, $9.95. Let's do this. You know, I was like, nah, man. I'm trying to make that personal fit to to what you had also. Yeah. And from what you were saying, I'm like, okay, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And then I was like, look, check out these examples and go from there. Yeah. But I think that too, we were talking about yesterday. We were talking in the shop. I was like, if there's a diagram or like the Venn diagrams, right, where you have like the far right, the far left, and the middle. As an artist, I think our brains are sometimes, we have to decide where you are. If you're gonna be that, here's my portfolio. Let me know if you're interested. Right. And I'm gonna get back to work. Yeah. I'm probably on this side, right? Yeah. The one on the other opposite side is gonna be like, I only do this, whatever the case, and I might not fit your style. Okay, right. That's the comfort per se. Right. But the ones in the middle that are like, let's just stop like this, stop it all, and let's just talk. Like, I just want
to do art, bro.
Yeah, I think there's like a common connection like that where I was working at the time too. I stopped, I took gloves off and my client. I think everybody I tattooed in San Fran was kind of like a local client, so they were always cool. I'd be like, yeah, just give me a sec. I'm gonna talk to the homie real quick, and then that's when I was like,
I've been that guy a couple times, bro. I know because I saw you at the expo like 3 times, I think. And we do 3, 4, 5 hours.
We tattooed you that next day though, right? Didn't we like book you for that day after?
We did that day, bro. Oh, that day. Like a half hour later. I think you finished with the client.
Yeah.
And then I was like right next.
Yeah.
I don't think you had anything booked up that day. But I think I've seen you at the expo like 3 times. We do 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. Yeah. And same deal. Like you're tattooing me. You're always like, hey, give me a second. I'm like, cool, I need a break anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
And you deal with somebody, either you're dealing with another artist or another client. And like it's a whole culture. Like the people who travel and follow the expo, it's a culture. You guys are like almost like a circus, right? It's
dude, yeah. You said it, man. We're a circus. Hey, I won't knock that at all. Because sometimes, man, it's like the circus going around, dude. Yeah. What's wild also is that the East Coast conventions are way different to Midwest and West, especially if it's like. It's like so it's like a circuit. So if you're following like a certain promotion, they have their way of running things. Oh, okay. There's invite only conventions, and those are a whole different vibe, dude. Right. And the same crew you saw me with at SF, we did an invite only in Oregon. Okay. And that invite only show was crazy, dude. It was like totally different. A lot more like low key. Right. A little more quiet. It wasn't as active, as loud. Yeah. Everyone in there was like a name, a hitter. Oh, wow. That was dope. Okay. So East Coast, so there's kind of like a big circle, which there's a few promotion companies that are like branching off into different states. But that show, the ones that we did, those guys are like they're wild. They're gonna have this sword swallower at 12 o'clock.
It's a whole vibe, right? It's an atmosphere. I used to love that expo. I've been a handful of times now. Yeah. And every time you go, it's like you see something new. So this is like a straight up party.
Hey, you want to talk about walk of life, dude? Everyone in there is like, man. There's some characters. Dude. Yeah, you could just people watch. It's like one of the
and then like all ages too. Like you see young people just getting started. You see old people finishing old tattoos. It's like everybody's coming to do this.
I try to sit down and think what has been the most, I guess, memorable, or like, you know, some wild stuff happens at conventions. And honestly, the most craziest thing is maybe like a fight breaking out.
Right.
Because I don't think you were there. It was at the SF Expo, actually, where some guy was acting out of pocket. But now I had the corner booth. And everybody saw, dude. He was just kind of like disrespecting the front and everything.
Right.
He came to my side, and I see how it happened, bro. And I just like dropped the
hammer,
the bar. Just one hitter, bro.
Damn.
And they carried him out because security. We all knew security, dude, because they followed us.
Yeah.
Because they had like the same security hired.
Okay.
And if we were in Pomona, same guys. If we were in SF, same guys. And they were like, "Hey, what happened?" I'm like, "This guy was over here just acting a fool, dude."
Yeah.
And you know what sucks though? Is if you're like an attendee,
right,
and you're messing with one artist, you don't think the whole little artist community has that artist's back, bro.
Yeah,
like
centipede. You said, it's a family, right? You guys all know each other. You got obviously that professional working relationship, but if you travel enough, you guys start building a real personal relationship.
That's one of the only times
you're not gonna
where
mess with my friends, bro. Like you're out of pocket right now, you know,
dude. You don't realize that everybody's watching, but everybody was like, "Oh shoot, that fool just went down."
Yeah.
I just like. Yeah. It was one of those things too. I think it was already on a Sunday too. So I said, well, they can't kick me out because it's already at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I was just like, as this guy was just, you know, he was in the face, and that was the only wildest thing that's ever happened. You know, you never see me at the Gilroy shop, huh?
Nope.
Yeah. See, I was there for the longest in that area, but then I was just, you know, home base hub was Hollister,
right?
And then I would go to Santa Cruz and tattoo a bit out there. Yeah, and then I opened up my shop a little bit further out east. And that time was cool, man. It was just like I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
So I had to start from zero.
Right.
Like you've been there.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So when you first came to get a tattoo, you already had a bunch of tattoos from the past. How was like the tattoos in the workplace? Was that ever not a factor? Because you said it yourself, like I'm already set, right?
Yeah.
I already have my career and all this and that, so I'm just gonna get my job stoppers because you know. But how was it when you first did you ever see that kind of I guess not the prejudice, but
you know, it's funny. Like I've always kind of kept that in consideration when looking for work.
Sure.
And again, I like turning wrenches, and people don't really care what you look like when you can fix things.
Yeah.
When you can build things, right? I would prefer my mechanic to have tattoos on his face and shit.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He knows what he's doing.
So I haven't really experienced a lot of that, but I have noticed, man, and I know what I look like, right? I got a brown face, I got a Spanish surname. I know what I look like out there in the world. And I get the eyeballs here and there, but it's never been a work thing ever. In the workplace, actually the job site I'm at right now, the foreman I'm working with is tattooed from eyelids to toenails, man, like completely covered up. Biker dude, full sleeves on both arms, all the way to the knuckles. A lot of colored trad work, badass traditional work. Yeah. And so it's always been a common thing where I'm at. The Marines is a real common thing, and construction trades is a real common thing. Yeah. And so I kind of lean toward that type of work. And so it's never been like a work issue. It's a discussion sometimes because, you know, a lot of dudes, by the time you got some heavy coverage, you come to the realization you're just an art collector, bro. Yeah. Like you just got an affinity for body art, right?
Right.
And so we talk more art than like, you know, jobs and prejudice and this and that. But yeah, it's never really been like a thing for work. I've been blessed in that situation.
Yeah. How did it feel to get mentored from coming out of the Marines to kind of start like drop all the, I don't know if you want to call it like pride or whatever, but you're just like, now you have to become an apprentice, you have to become a student all over again.
Yeah, no.
How was that like?
I spent 8 years on fighter planes, man. And when I got out, I was one of the senior technicians in my shop. You know, I had a little bit of rank and I had a little bit of weight and I kind of knew what was going on. And I stepped into this new world and I had never been on a job site before. I had never used power tools before. I could turn a wrench. I was good with hand tools. On aircraft, I use mostly hand tools because you got tight tolerances. You can't afford to break something with a power tool in an aircraft, right? It's a lot of hand tools. I had never used a lot of the power tools I use on the job site. So yeah, I was starting from scratch. And the construction trades, especially in the union trades, there's a lot of nepotism, right? Everybody's somebody's brother, somebody's nephew, somebody's brother, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm coming off the street from a totally different industry. Yeah, man, I had to go in with like my heart open, like, all right, man, I just got to take whatever these guys can teach me and try to absorb it and, you know, forge my own path. It took a little bit of getting used to because, again, you know, I kind of knew what was going on aircraft. I had no idea what was going on a job site.
With jobs, yeah.
And then it just happened that when I got into the trades, I started going to school for the apprenticeship before I got dispatched to a job site. So we're doing intro to piping, and everybody around me is on a job site, and they're working, and they kind of got this common lingo and they kind of have been, see what's going on and they kind of know how a building gets put together. I got no idea what's going on.
You're like,
I'm like, bro, y'all are speaking Greek as far as I'm concerned, right? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. And so I finally got into a job site like 3 months later. I had been going to school. And I'm like, oh, the light bulb kind of went off. Oh, I see what they're talking about, right? And I've hit the ground running ever since, bro. I've always been the type of person, like, I want to learn more. There's a lot of dudes, especially in union work. A lot of people don't like union work because it protects like lazy people, right? Like you got the union backing you up, right?
Say it how it is, brother.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for real. And it makes the rest of us look bad. But I approach every job site with the same kind of mentality, right? Like, I don't ever want somebody to see my name on a dispatch because who's coming to the job site before they get there. I don't want somebody to see my name and be like, oh, I don't want that dude here. Oh, he don't know what he's doing. He don't. Well,
you mentioned that last time that your name actually carried along in the area because it does show that reputable accountability where they're like, hey, hit up my man, and you're like, dude, these foremans actually knew my name or they knew from me from another work site. Yeah. And that actually went a long way.
Yes, that's one of the plus sides to union work is you work with the same dudes over and over again, right?
Yeah.
Once in a while you get to a job site where you don't know anybody, but usually you show up and you're like, oh, I know that dude or I know that dude. I know one or two guys here and there, right? And yeah, my last three jobs were all name hires, like, because you got an out of work list, right? And the way they're supposed to do it is when a job comes available, they take the top dude off the list. Hey, you got this job, go ahead and get it, right?
Yeah.
But if you got somebody who knows you, they can pick you from anywhere off the list. Hey, I know that dude's good at what we need to get done. Let's get him out here, right?
Right.
So my last 3 jobs were like that. Like I didn't have to wait. And the last time, there was like 50, 60 dudes on the list. A lot of people out of work. I jumped the whole line.
Yeah.
Jumped the whole line because the homie was like, hey, man, you still need a job? I'm getting ready to kick off this big project. And I was like, yeah, what's going on? What's happening?
I'm ready. Huh.
Yeah. And he said, all right, man, call this number. I'm going to have my dude dispatch you and, we'll get started. And I've been at that job since. It's been like a year and some change now.
Oh, wow. Where's this location at?
So I'm kind of bouncing around. Well, I was bouncing around right now. We got a couple big projects that we're waiting to kick off. So I'm at Valley Medical Center in San Jose, Santa Clara Valley Med in San Jose, and Regional Medical Center also in San Jose. Oh. And then I was up at Stanford for a little bit. The contractor I'm with is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So they got a couple of projects going on, and if they want to keep you on hand, they'll find somewhere to place you until the big project kicks off, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of waiting for the big project to kick off. They got a couple of main dudes that are like, hey, we just need to keep you working so we don't lose you.
Right.
Because once they lay you off, you go back to the list, and whoever picks you up next, right?
Yeah. And then that company might lose out on even having you.
Right.
So that makes sense. I see what you're saying about protecting the lazy.
Yeah. Because
and you see that a lot though with like the young cats.
I haven't recently. In recent years, I know that's a big knock on union work, but I've been blessed to be around some like heavy hitters, bro. Like these dudes come to work to get shit done, right? And it helps that we make decent money, right? When it's all about the money, or when you can't pay your bills, your mind tends to wander. Right?
Oh yeah,
you got other shit going on.
Right.
But when you're making a good amount of money, you can focus on, hey, let's get this fucking job done.
Yeah.
I want to get this job done for the sake of people saying later that, yo, that dude did a good job.
Well, you feel valued. You feel like you're getting taken care of. Right. And that's funny because...
And it's a source of personal pride, right? Like, that's one thing about building things and fixing things and working with your hands. Like, you can go back years later and look like, yo, I built that. I fucking helped stand that motherfucker up.
That's pretty dope. What about what's been the craziest project that you've worked on or that you've been on, like one of the most significant, memorable?
I did the central utility plant at Microsoft in Mountain View, which was cool. We did like this giant rack with like 14-inch pipe overhead, and they flew it in kind of already prefab on a fucking crane.
Dang.
Shit was wild. And we had done some of the ground piping, leading up to the crane pick, and then a crane showed up with this big ass flatbed trailer and this huge piping, like a manifold, you know what I mean? And they picked it up on a pipe and kind of landed it in place, and we had dudes running all over the place. And the crane picks are always fun because it reminds me the most of like working on aircraft. Like when I was in the service, right? It's like, it's a real dangerous piece of work, and everybody's got to be on the same page.
Yeah, you have to be.
And if everybody's on their P's and Q's, you land it exactly the way the drawing shows, and everybody goes home with all their fingers and toes.
Yeah.
And that's a big source of pride, right? It's a hard project to do. It's a dangerous project to do, and you got it done smooth, quick, safe. Right. Like, it's a lot of fun when you do stuff like that. I've done a couple of crane picks.
What about like high security?
Nah, security's not really usually an issue. I mean,
or like ever like bases or some projects where, you know, people say, oh, I worked at this like government, it's a government project, and they had to do background checks. They had to do.
Yeah, no, not since I've been in the building trades. Okay. When I was doing aircraft maintenance, I had a secret security clearance, which was cool.
Yeah.
All that is it's a need to know basis, right? So even if you got a clearance, you can only get into certain rooms if you have a need to get in there, right? And that's where you kind of learn, like, the U.S. government's got a couple different levels of security, right? They've got your classified, your confidential, your secret, and your top secret. So I had a secret security clearance. I had no access to like top secret shit. But a secret security clearance, when you're working day to day, it doesn't feel like a lot. And then all of a sudden somebody pull you into office and, hey man, I need you to do this paperwork. I need you to check this equipment. And you're the only person with the qualifications to do it. And it's like, well, what are you talking about? A lot of times it's like an inventory thing, right? It's like working in a shop, right? You just got to make sure this equipment works the way it was supposed to, came in with all the pieces it was supposed to come in, and then you lock it into a vault.
Yeah.
But you got the code of the vault, and you got the clearance to get in there and look at all the stuff in the vault, and you got the clearance to sign off the paperwork. And it's like, oh, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And when you're doing it, bro, at 19, 20, 21 years old, you don't really see the gravity of it, right?
The weight, how heavy that is, that position.
At the time, it's just a job. Like, yo, I got airplanes. We got to get these things flying. I can't be sitting in this office. Now, you are the only one who can. Send somebody else to work on the planes. You got to sit down and get this done. It's like, all right. And it kind of like unfolds as the years go by. Like, yo, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Did you feel focused at that time too? So let's think about 19-year-old you with this kind of power.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were, I don't know how to say it, like you just knew I had to get this job done? I was like,
man, honestly, I took it for granted the first couple of years. I really did, man. It was just a job, right?
Right.
I knew that at the end of the road, I was going to get the GI Bill. I was going to get the VA loan for housing. And
that was your motivation though? Like,
yeah. Well, I had my son, like I said, I was still in high school when my son was born. And so I was like, I don't have the time or the money to go to college. I got to feed him right now, right? And so the military allowed me to do that. But once I got in, I was like, oh, I'm getting my paycheck and I got this job and I'm set for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I kind of took it for granted, man. Like, it was just a job, and I was drinking too much. I was partying a little bit, and I was just kind of like doing it as a thing to do. And then after my first enlistment was done, and I got a little bit of rank, and I kind of was running a shift, I'm like, yo, this is really important shit. These planes are critical to the mission, right?
Right.
And so it kind of changed as I went along. But early on, bro, it was just a fun ride to be on. And then you're in there with you make friends, and they're the same age as you, 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're just kind of like having fun, man. It's a party kind of. And the work is just work. It's 8-10 hours of work, and you get off, and it's like, all right, let's go get some beer.
Yeah.
And let's have a good fucking time.
That's dope.
And after a while, it's like, dude, we got shit to do. I can't drink too many beers because in the morning I got real shit to take care of.
I gotta be focused.
You gotta be mentally sharp.
Yeah.
And so, it kind of it evolves after time. But it's easy. A lot of kids, especially if you only do a 4-year enlistment, a lot of kids spend 4 years just drinking and partying, and they get out with, resume bullet points, but they don't really have anything that they developed to sell to the marketplace.
Kind of drained it.
In the sense of finding a job. Yeah. They kind of wasted it,
Yeah. Then I'm sure, like you said, that whole blueprint, I find it remarkable how, like, the buildings, they're to the print. Yeah. And they're able to make it like the drawing with no, like, little to no margin of error.
It's crazy.
That's pretty intense.
It's really intense, bro.
Industry inks have been around for a while, and recently they expanded their pigment range. Everything from your primary colors, opaque grays, brand new anime skin tone, bright neon fluorescent tones, gray wash set, and black lining ink. If you haven't yet tried out this high quality pigment, head on over to industryinks.com. And with your order, you can take advantage of a special promo code using OUTLOUD for an exclusive discount. Try out their new range for yourself, and thanks again for the partnered sponsorship.
Because sometimes, on occasion, right, you'll find a drawing where, like, yo, we just can't build it the way the drawing wants.
Yeah.
Right? And so you got to kind of coordinate with the customer and the client and the engineers and the architects and all these other people. What can we do? These are the options of how we want to fix it. We got a couple different options. What is allowable so that we can get this done? Because the drawing you gave us ain't going to fucking work, right?
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the drawings come out of somebody's desk who's never been on a job site before. A lot of these engineers and the guys doing the drawings, fresh out of college, never been on a job site. And so, well, my computer says it works fine. And we're out on the job site looking at the dirt and looking at the steel and like, yo, it doesn't fit. It's not going to work like that, you know? And so
Dude, I can imagine
that's kind of dope because you get to get a little creative and it's like, all right, from my experience, I know we can do this, this, and that.
Yeah.
And we can make it work, but is that going to compromise the structural integrity of the building, right? Is it going to make
integrity
it weaker?
Of the building,
right?
Dude.
Is it going to make it weaker? Is it going to make the system any less powerful? Is it going to, you know, what is it going to change in the grand scheme of things? If you get a couple of green lights and it was your idea that made it work, it's like, yo, that's fucking dope, man. You start beating on your chest.
Yeah,
you know?
Like I did that, like you said, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of metaphorical to yourself, life, structure, the building, you.
absolutely.
I've told it, right?
Absolutely.
Whenever people come in, they're like going through a hard funk. You know, I see them at their worst, their rock bottom.
Yeah.
You can't throw a roof on without that foundation.
Right.
You get to physically see this every day on your job site. People just took that and just kind of translated it into their own selves. Like this building,
Yeah.
look how many workers it takes to put
How many
this
steps it took.
structure
Look
and
how much
steps,
forward
dude.
looking, how far down the road you have to look.
Yeah, dude. It's
Yeah.
like a buddy of mine told me that there's when you think you hit the top and then you think you come back down to
Right.
square one, it's not really square one. You're actually coming back a little bit above it. And what you're
Right.
doing is this continuous upward spiral
Right.
until what you once thought was the top is actually now your lowest.
Right.
That's what you live by, that like your structure
Yeah.
and your build. And I thought that was so fascinating.
Yeah.
And right now that we're talking about this, dude, I was like, dude, do you ever realize this is like life right here?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Isn't that
you know,
wild?
it is. It really is, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've been blessed to be on like 3 projects that were from the ground up. So it's like a hole in the fucking ground, and then they put in steel, and you get the skeleton of a building, and then floors get poured. And now we can run in and start setting up pipe, right? And you're running pipe in like an empty frame of a building, and all of a sudden walls start going up.
Oh,
and all of a sudden drywall starts coming in, paint starts coming
coming
in, concrete.
together.
It's like, yo, this looks like a building now, you know?
Yeah.
And
From
you drive
nothing.
by it years later, and it's a data center, it's a hospital, it's a semiconductor plant. It's like, yo, like
How many people work in there too?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
many bodies are in there?
It's crazy, man. It's just like I said, the amount of moving pieces it takes to make it happen is remarkable.
It's not no Legos. This
No,
is like-
not at all. Not at
It's,
all.
You know, because I can't imagine if you're like, this doesn't fit. Oh,
Right.
just cut a little bit off the edge, you know?
Yeah, you can't do that, bro. Right.
That don't work that way,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like the mowing the grass. It's
Yep.
like, edge it up, man. So changes in the industry, you've seen a lot of like the technology stuff. Because I was just talking about
yeah.
the AI stuff when you got here, saying
Yeah.
that, dude, there's programs out there that are, have you seen that also?
Yeah, there's been some changes in technology about
Because you started with, I know I hear people that they're like, oh, I could run battery power with all my tools now, and I never need a cable because they
Yeah.
see me with the machines.
right.
And they're like, yeah, I have a like a Milwaukee that runs me and my whole crew because
Right.
it's smaller. It's not like big industrial, but
Yeah.
smaller companies that are doing like the residential construction. They're like, dude, one battery set powers all my stuff now.
Yeah.
And I'm in there with, cutting tile or whatever,
Yeah.
the granite, and I'm like,
they're always trying to dummy proof the building of a project.
yeah,
And so they're always trying to figure out how can we cut a corner here, cut a corner there safely, right? How can we
Right.
let the machines do more of the work and take some of the thinking out of it? And for guys like me, like I like working with my hands.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it as accurate as a person can get it, right?
Right.
The machine's just never going to do it like that. Especially, like I said, you run into speed bumps or hurdles and you have to think your way out of it. Like what we had programmed in the machine doesn't fucking fit. We've got to come up with something different.
that's crazy that the machine couldn't program. So whose fault would that be though? Is that maybe schematics of data or?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because you just
Yeah.
said these guys don't have the experience. They don't have the field experience.
Right.
And they're just thinking like they're book smart, but
Yeah.
they're not like physically.
Or a lot of times what'll happen is like it'll work, it'll fit in the drawing, right?
Sure.
But they'll have forgotten to put in a piece of equipment or add in, something, a room here or a door there.
That makes
And
sense.
it's like you got to move around that, or you got to extend the length of the pipe, or you got to do something. And now you're running into a whole other
Wall.
section, a wall, you know what I mean? Another piece of equipment or
wild.
another set of piping or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so now we got to start from square one. We got to cut it way back. How do we get from point A to point B
Yeah.
without using that first route we wanted to use, at all? And so, yeah, they're always coming out with some new technology to
Yeah.
take out the brazing and the soldering and the welding and the layout, because that's where human error comes into play. But that like human touch is also where the problems really get fixed.
Yeah.
It's where the art really happens in the construction, right? because it really is like
It's
a piece
art.
of art, bro.
It's
It really
art.
is a piece of art.
You've seen those people that do that crazy art, the metal welding art. That's
So
dope.
I've seen like the electricians. It's funny, the electricians come in. We make fun of the electricians a lot. A lot of the trades make fun of the electricians, and with some cause, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a lot of them are cool dudes. They're really intelligent cats. But when you see their work finished, and you see 6, 7 pieces of pipe running together, and they make a sharp angle together, and everything's perfectly fucking parallel. It's like, yo, these dudes like really put a lot of time and attention. It's art, dude. It really fucking is.
Right.
They put a lot of time, attention, effort into making it look mechanical and sharp and clean, and it's out of the way, and everybody else can kind of get their stuff in, and it. Oh, dude, it really is fucking art.
It's like
it really
that
is art. It's
chef's
like,
kiss.
yes. It's like
Yeah.
music. It's like painting. It's
Yeah,
art,
yeah.
bro. It really is.
I've seen some panels that look like, man, you could tell the construction worker, the pipeline, the metal fabricators,
Right.
had to really be in sync with the electrician.
Yeah, and
Because,
process piping is like that. Process piping they use a lot for like semiconductor fabbing.
Yeah.
And so you get all these toxic gases in one room, right? And then you pipe out of the top of all these little like manifolds, and you do like 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch pipe, real small pipe. And so it comes out of these boxes, the size of a room, right? And it comes into like 4 feet across, and these 1/4 inch lines. And they all come together out of this manifold, out of the room. And it's like they all make the same little
Very
angle, same
precise.
sharp turn. And you look at it, and it's all perfectly parallel. Nothing's running into anything. And it's like, yo, that took a lot of effort. That took a lot of time.
That's so dope, dude.
Yeah, that's really dope. I get a kick out of it.
Badass. I know, man. That
love
sounds
it.
like one of those things that you never have a dull moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen everything from like injuries, right?
I've been fortunate. I haven't seen a lot of injuries. That's
Okay, good.
One of the reasons I choose to do union work is for the safety factor, man.
They're
Like,
very on point with it.
Yeah. So when you're doing union work, they not just the paying benefits, but they're also trying to make sure you're gonna go home with all your fingers and toes. We all got a family we want to go home to, right? And so I see a lot of non-union contractors will kind of cut corners and take risks with safety, and it's like, I'm not doing that, bro. I got a family to take care
That
of.
gets checked, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be able to build stuff, and I'm proud to like go above and beyond when it's necessary. But if we can be safe, I want to be as safe as we possibly can.
you can,
because
for
the work
sure.
is inherently dangerous. It's inherently dirty. You don't want to add risk on top of that for no fucking reason. Not for somebody else's profit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not for some dude I'm never gonna meet to make an extra $1 million because you cut a couple of weeks off of a deadline. Nah, it's not worth it to me.
not worth it, yeah.
Not worth it to my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was out there being a badass and cutting corners, I get killed on the job site, the contractor's not going to be at my funeral telling my family how cool I was, how badass I was. You know what I mean? They're going to hire
Your
somebody else
obituary.
and keep pressing forward. Yeah.
For sure. I was curious on the impact of this whole economy with the work. Like if you saw this, like this economical impact, how it affected. Because I know you're saying, hey, there's some years or some seasons that are more booming than the others.
Yeah.
What does that look like to you? How does that decipher into your?
This most recent, like these last 2 years, well, since COVID, right, like 4 years now, has been the first time I've really seen an economic fluctuation in construction. Because when I got in, we were just coming out of the like the 2008 fucking economy crash, right? So everybody was going back to work, everybody was working, everybody was making big money. And I got in kind of riding that wave, and I was like, yo, what are you guys talking about? Everybody's working, everybody's rich.
Yeah.
What do you mean? And these dudes, older cats, telling these horror stories, man, sometimes you're going to sit home for a year, and there's just no work out there. You can't go to work if there's no work, this and that. I'm like, I don't necessarily see it like that, right?
Yeah,
And,
that's never happened to you.
and then COVID hits.
Oh, sure.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Everybody got sent home for 3 months. Nobody's going to work. Go home. We got a little bit of unemployment. We got a little bit of a supplemental bonus. We got this and that, but nobody's going to work. It's like, oh, shit. How are we going to come out of this, right?
Because this is a whole new factor.
Whole new factor.
Not what even the OGs went through.
Right. And so we went back to work after 3 months, and I worked for like 2 months. And all of a sudden, the layoff checks come.
Yeah.
And usually at the end of a project, you could expect layoff checks, right? Cool, I'll take my check. I'll run down to Mexico for 2 weeks. I'll come back. There's another job waiting for me. No big deal, right?
Yeah.
But this time I was like, yo, I think they're laying us off because of COVID. I don't know if the work is there, right?
Right.
And so the day I got laid off, they brought out like 40 checks. A whole bunch of dudes. Here's your check. Here's your check. Here's your check. Because like in union work, when you get laid off, they got to give you your money that day, right? So they pay you up to the hour you work that day, and they give you that money on a paper check. Here you go, man. Thanks for your help. We got nothing left. Oh, fuck.
This is real.
Oh, fuck, right?
That's
And
hard.
so I took a little bit of time off. I went, put my name on the out of work list. I kind of waited for a phone call, right? That's all I knew at the time. Weeks turned into 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into a month. month turned into 2 months. I'm like, yo, I'm starting to run out of money. This COVID money is not going to last forever, right? They were starting to talk about cutting back the unemployment bonuses and this and that. I'm like, I'm fortunate because I got a little bit of a VA benefit.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped keep me afloat. But I know a lot of cats don't have that. And even with that, like I got a family, I got a mortgage.
Yeah, everybody has.
Everybody,
for the most part, I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys on there were, you know, they got
people to look
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dependencies, yeah.
And so I was like, yo, I don't know how this is going to work out. And I was fortunate. I went back to work. I had a name hire. A friend was like, hey, I got this project. It's not great work, but it's work. Nobody's working right now. I got a job. So I bet I'll be there Monday, right? So I got dispatched to this job.
Eager, you're ready.
Eager, bro. I had put on like 30 fucking pounds in COVID. I was up to like 250.
Yeah,
like, I was out to here,
the COVID layer.
My first 2 weeks on the job site, I couldn't walk. I was tired all the time. I couldn't get up the stairs, moving pipe around on the floor. I was like, oh, my stomach hurts, my legs hurt. Everything was sore. I was tired, but I was heavy. And I worked for a year, almost a year on that project, and a lot of people weren't back to work yet. I was like, yo, this kind of sucks. Like the guys who I know who are working are grateful. They know that nobody else is working.
Yeah.
And the guys who are not working, like, hey, bro, you got a spot for me? Hey, bro, you got a job for me? Like, bro, I can't. I don't have the power. Like, there's no space. We're running a skeleton crew as is. We only got 5, 6 dudes.
Right.
And we're having trouble staying busy, you know? So, yeah, this is the first time I've really seen that kind of fluctuation because of the economy. There's no jobs out there.
Yeah.
And right now, there's a lot of work on the calendar. Everybody says they have projects coming up. But we got more dudes on the list right now than I've ever seen. I've been doing construction almost 12 years now. We got a lot of dudes out of work, and work is there supposedly. But when? When are we going to go back to work? I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been fortunate. I'm working. But even we're like, every couple of weeks, foreman's like, hey, man, y'all mind taking like Friday off? Like, we can find work for you if you need it, but like it'd be easier if we just take a 3-day weekend. All right, man, we'll take 3 days, right? It's better than taking a layoff.
Yeah.
Right? It's better than working yourself out of the job too fast. No, I need my 4 hours. And then next week, we got to take 2 days off. We finished everything up. We hit all of our, all our timelines. So it's like, all right, man, we'll take a 32-hour week here. We'll take a 32-hour week there. And it's like even the guys who are working kind of struggling, right?
Yeah.
And like, I feel bad for the dudes who are not working because if we're struggling, I can't imagine. Everybody's got a different situation going on, right? Everybody's got a different number of kids, different number of siblings, different number of aging parents, right? Like, depending on what you care about as a man, like, those numbers all fluctuate, right? You try to take care of your tribe as a grown man, right? You got your kids, your parents, your siblings, right? And then, whatever friends, however you set your tribe up, right? But everybody's got a different setup.
Yeah.
And your parents might still be young enough to be working. They might not. Your kids might be old enough to where they're in college. Their friends are kind of taking care of them. They might not. Your siblings might be out on their own. They're successful. They might not.
Right.
Like, it's like, fuck, who needs my help?
What was keeping you, man, because I can imagine your mental state between the 3 months of being on this crazy treadmill of like grind to a halt. How did you follow that anxiety or the stress? What kept it together? During COVID, for sure. And I hate to beat that same drum, but it really did give us this outlook and this kind of new pace and this new gear that we're going to be on for the rest of who knows when.
Foreseeable future,
Because that was literally the hardest reset, I think, of a lot of things. A reset how things used to be. And I see a lot of shops that are doing the whole walk-in thing. And I'm like, I can, but if I do an event all day, let them come, And then some people don't just because I've seen people that, when I fully started to take clients back in, dude, I was backed up for X amount of time because of
this pause.
Yeah, dude, the well might have been running dry.
A lot of it is like just having the faith that as time passes, things change, right? Everything changes. Nothing is stationary. Nothing in this world is stationary, right? Everything is constantly changing. And so no matter how difficult a moment is, something's got to break.
Is that something that you've acquired from things that you've been through? Too?
Yeah. It really is kind of just a mindset, right? Like, it's like that saying. I see it a lot in tattoos. Actually, this too shall pass.
Oh yeah,
right. And
we're gonna get that on your neck, bro. Let's do it.
And I think that started as like a religious thing, right? And I'm not a religious person at all, but that saying, that kind of, it's like it really is a mindset, right? Like, no matter how tough a time is, if you just wait long enough. Actually, you know what? The Marines actually really kind of instill a similar mentality. They call it embracing the suck, right?
Embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck, right? Like, no matter how difficult a time is, like, bitching about it's not going to help. It's not, right? You just got to endure it. So when you come across difficult challenges in life, fucking take it on head first and push through that motherfucker like it was your idea. Stand up, smile, and take it on. And by the time you really get fed up and you really want to hang yourself, boom, you're on the other side. It's like, oh shit, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's over. Everything's a little bit better. I can breathe, right? And all you need sometimes is a little bit of breathing room, man.
Yeah.
All you need is a small check here, a small job there. You know, that's all it takes sometimes. It's like,
yeah.
All right, man, everything's going to be all right.
Calm your levels.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
don't overthink it. I think that might be our biggest flaw too, is especially, like I said, we're on this crazy grind, this treadmill of a grind, right?
Yeah.
At this fast pace.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we come to this halt and we're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I don't know how you do on vacations, but it's hard. Vacations for me are tough, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Not me, bro.
I know. You probably like embrace it, but dude,
Yeah,
like
man.
my job in a sense doesn't really turn off, you know?
Yeah.
And that's hard because I can just as well on a vacation have to work. If I don't do it now, it's going to be stressful to take it on next
when
I get back. So,
Right.
and I'm doing better, but I'm saying like, you know, it's to develop that new mindset, like you said, because you've been through some stuff aside of the business side of things, like with the construction and the Marines, everything like that. You've been through a fair share of some crazy things, right?
Yeah, yeah. Being a dad at such a young age kind of like changes you, right?
Yeah.
Shapes you, right?
Yeah.
Like no matter what I got going on, I got this little Vato to look after.
Yeah, man.
And like he needs shit and he needs stuff that I can't worry about myself. I got to make sure he's good, right? But at the same time, I've learned over the years that you can't take care of anybody unless you're good, right?
Right.
So you got to take care of your mental. You got to take care of your body. You got to take care of your pockets. Because if you can't stand firm on your own 2 feet, you can't look after anybody. You know what I mean? And I've been fortunate that my parents were kind of young when they had me. So my parents are still in good health, right? But like my parents are starting to get older.
Yeah.
And eventually that's going to be my responsibility to make sure they can still get around. They can still do what they got to do.
Right.
Right. So you're looking after your kids, you're looking after your old folks, and it's like you're kind of caught in the middle as a man. You start getting to your late 30s, early 40s, and like everybody kind of leans on me. And if I'm not good, everybody's going to fall, right?
Absolutely.
And so you kind of got to take it upon yourself to be like, all right, what do I need to do to make sure everything's good, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to just take a break, man. You got to take a vacation, you know, do a little bit of day drinking, right? Swim in the ocean, right? Eat a little bit too much greasy food, have a couple extra pastries, right? Go see a show, do something that's going to kind of like bring your mind back to like, all right, man.
Back at ease.
Let me get back to the grind where I can really grind like 24/7, really like hammer things out.
Take a little breather.
Because I'm very much that type of person. Like when I'm on a job and I'm doing a project, I'm like, let's fucking get it done. I don't care what it costs me. I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care how tired I am. Let's fucking get it done. Let's get it done. But I always got a vacation on the calendar, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm a hammer as hard as I can hammer for 3 weeks because that fucking my next one's coming up the 28th of June. I'm out of here. Y'all ain't gonna see me for 11 days, bro.
Where you going?
Let's get it done. I'm doing a road trip to Denver.
Oh, it's a Denver road trip.
For my birthday. I can't wait.
That's gonna be tight.
Yeah. I got a primo who lives in Denver right now, so he's gonna fly out this way, meet me here, and he's gonna ride home with me.
Dang.
And then I'm gonna be in Denver 5 days, 4th of July weekend, and then my folks are gonna fly to Denver and ride home with me.
Nice.
So I'm gonna have some company both ways.
Yeah,
Take,
that's cool.
almost 2 weeks off for my birthday. Spend a week in Denver with my primos and shit.
Well deserved, huh?
Yeah, bro. And when I'm on vacation, I'm not thinking about work at all. Not even a little bit, bro.
You clock out. You clock the
not
hell
even
out.
a little bit. But I got a couple weeks left, and right now, I just got moved from one job site to another one. The one I was at, everything's kind of like slow moving, like at my own pace. Hey, man, just get it done. Let me know where you're at the end of the day. All right, cool. And I got moved to another one. I start Monday. They're like, hey, we're trying to finish this thing up. We're going to work 10 hours a day until it's done. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking let's do it. You're talking to the right crew. Let's go. Right? And just
let's get it.
Until it's done or until it's time to clock out. You know what I mean? Hey, man, I'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
Right?
The hardest pinnacle moments of your life when you felt like you hit that rock bottom I was talking about.
Yeah.
Did you ever sit and ask yourself, like, I'm on the wrong path. I'm on the wrong journey.
Oh yeah.
40. When
I'm getting ready to be 40, bro. Like because
I'm thinking because this was highlighting something that we talked about last time because you kind of said I'm picking up where I left off and I'm catching up where I slacked and because like with health, even when I met you, man, like just random conversations and things that I would see because I literally was like in your environment at one point,
right?
So I would see like, man, like you're a solid father. There's no doubt,
right?
But we do hit those challenges. We do hit those things. what moment was that when you were just like, man, this is what rock bottom feels like?
Man, I tell you what, right when I was coming out of the Marines, bro, I was going through a divorce. I was kind of halfway getting forced out of the Marines. And at the time, I just didn't want to deal with none of it.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm willing to let it all go. I was losing the Marines because of my family. I was losing my family because of the Marines. And I didn't know how to balance any of it. And I didn't want to participate in any of it. And I was like, where the fuck do I go from here? I've been doing this job for 8 years. I've been married to this woman for like 9, almost 10 years. And now I'm coming out to not having any of that. I'm moving, 9 hours north. Like, where do I go from here, right?
Yeah.
And that was like a real rock bottom place for me because, like, my ex and I went through a really ugly divorce. And then she moved to the East Coast with my kids. And now I got no job, no school, no prospects for a job. My kids are on the East Coast. I got no wife anymore. I'm like, what is going on right now? I was in control of everything a minute ago, and now I got no control over anything.
That blind side, huh?
Yeah, bro. And I fell into like partying too much. I slipped into a bottle and kind of like just kind of drowned for a little while, right? Swimming around at the bottom of a tequila bottle.
Yeah.
And
you're the gusano.
Yeah, straight up, straight up. And you mature past it. And you're like, yo, this ain't helping me at all. Right. This ain't helping me at all, right? I gotta get up off my ass and make something happen. Something's got to give, right? It's got to crack off. And so, yeah, I got back into school. I got back into working. And for like 3 years, 4 years, I was like, all I'm going to do is try to get better at this job, try to work on seeing my kids and talking to my kids more and building a relationship with my kids and trying to build the best version of myself so that the next time I come up on hard times, they're not so fucking hard, right?
Right.
And every kind of like low valley I've hit since then I've been able to approach it with my chest out, like, all right, man.
It's that upward spiral I was talking about.
Yeah, life has its ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
And like you can stand firm on 2 feet, but like, all right, this is a fucking low point. So let's push past that motherfucker and get back to another high point, right? And that's kind of just the way I approach every little obstacle now. Yeah. It's like, all right, man, obstacles are gonna happen, right? Life is gonna happen to you regardless. Right. It's the world never stops spinning, right? But how you respond to that really dictates who you are as a man, right? Like you can let it knock you down, or you can be like, yo, man, I got to just maneuver around this. I got to deal with this, and there's better times on the other side, right?
Absolutely.
And so if you take it all on with a sense of like, hey, man, nothing's going to kill me. It's going to have to kill me to get rid of me, right?
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't, I'm going to be all right. And, yeah, if you just do that, and I feel like you can shoulder a little more of the world, man. Yeah. It's a little bit easier to do.
Absolutely.
A little easier to deal with.
Yeah, because you were saying that whole thing where people are about to give up, and if they held on just a little bit more, a little bit longer, they don't even know what's on that other side.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
If you did stay in that mindset, in that sinkhole, you would have never turned out with this,
bro,
brand new whip.
Bro, who knows where I could have been, you know what I mean?
Dude,
like, especially when you fall into like drinking and drugs and partying and women and shit, like, it's easy to go overboard, and a lot of dudes never come back, right?
Yeah.
Like you see them all the time, especially around here, right? Like you see people who are just wandering the streets, bottle in hand, they're dirty, they're homeless, like they got. And I had one of my brothers worked at a homeless shelter. He used to tell me all the time, man, like some of these people got support systems, bro. They got families that love them. They got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
But they're so lost in the drugs and the drink that they can't get out of their own way. And it's like it's so easy to fall into that and become one of those people, right? And you got to stand up eventually and be like, oh man, if I want certain things in my life, or I want the certain people around me who I care about to have things, I got to stand up and make it fucking happen.
Right.
Nothing's going to just fall into your lap, right? And so as you kind of take steps in the right direction, try to make things happen for yourself, good things start to happen. It's like a karma type deal, right?
Yeah.
Like you put good energy out into the world, like good energy starts to
and paying it forward. I'm a big believer in that, man.
For sure.
I'm a big believer in that. Pay it forward. And I sometimes wonder what puts these guys, what set them off.
Yeah.
Like those people you see. I've seen people I went to high school with, man, that are like
spun out.
And they had futures for them and something, right? Everybody's got a future in something.
Right.
Man. So I think I always sometimes I sit and wonder, but you're right. Like, people that work with homeless shelters, or they're working in like the halfway houses, or like the recovery centers, or clients of mine. I'm going to have a few people that went through programs. Yeah. 2 different clients of mine went through those crazy, like, they sent into a program.
Yeah.
And they're like, they talked about it, and now they can be around a substance and not, you know, like that mental toughness, which some people didn't have that, you know?
And it's messed up because, like, there is people out there, right, who just, they don't have anybody. And, like, it's way harder to pull yourself out of a hole when you've got no family, no support, no, you know what I mean, no history of education, no history of work experience. It's hard to crawl out of that hole.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's a lot of people out there wandering around who look like, you know, the whole world is falling on them. And it's just them in their own way. They have families and support systems, people who care about them and people who want to help them. And they're like, nah, man, I just want to get a drink.
They chose that.
Yeah, leave me alone. What the fuck, man?
How do you think, how far do you think some of society, like some of us that are just going day to day, when we hit those stressful moments, like you said, if you're not prepared or built for it, how many people do you think are kind of side by side with the people that are living that way?
Yeah.
That it doesn't take you much to get tipped into that. Man. What led you to this? And they say, my car didn't start one day.
Yeah.
I had a sack underneath the,
you
know, I had a sack underneath the seat and I hit it and it's like no point no return.
Right.
And you have the same guy going through something similar or whatever, and if they handle it different. That's why I was curious, like, what was your rock bottom? Because that's different to everybody else's rock bottom.
Yeah, the human mind is a volatile thing, man. Like, I've got a little bit of experience with AA, right? And a lot of times you go to these meetings, you hear these people, and they're up there telling you fucking horror stories, bro. Horror stories. And it's like, yo, and you keep drinking? And for me, right, like, I got a DUI 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I need to chill the fuck out.
That was like wake up.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't damage any property. I didn't fight the charges. And it still cost me a year worth of my weekends going to this class, right? It cost me an overnight in jail, and it cost me $7,500 cash. And that was enough for me to be like, yo, I don't need to drink that bad. Right. I need to chill the fuck out, right? Yeah. I don't drink and drive anymore at all. I'm not drinking at all right now. But for a while, I stopped drinking and driving altogether. If I had one beer, I was like, nope, somebody else got to drive. We got an Uber. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, right?
Yeah.
And you go to sit in on an AA meeting, and you hear these people having car crashes and fights, and they're getting beat up and stabbed, and they're losing their families, and they're losing their wives and their kids.
Yeah.
And they go pick up a bottle as soon as they get out of the meeting. I'm like, yo, bro, like, how is that not enough trouble for you to look at yourself and be like, yo, I got to stop doing something. Right. Something I'm doing ain't working, right? And yeah, I think the human mind is a volatile thing, man. It's like, I think a lot of people are closer to doing that than they realize.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe they have some motivation that's like, I need to lean this way to make sure that to make sure I don't. Right.
I wondered about that, man. It's pretty crazy. All this, you know?
I've been very curious about it in my life, man, because I've seen some people like fall off the deep end. When I was in the Marines, I saw a couple of people get kicked out, and they might have been going through like something rough at home that, in retrospect, ain't really a big deal.
Right.
A relationship or, you know, a loss or something. You just got to grieve and kind of feel your feelings and kind of process through it, right? But they slip right into substance abuse, and that just turns into a whole different carnival, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yo, man, like, you didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to do all that, you know?
And here you are like, dude, that's petty. That's weak. That's not even on the level to give you. It seems like you just use that as an excuse to find a reason to go and slip out.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, man. And I'm a real family-oriented person, so I've always, like, kept my folks and my kids in mind. Like, yeah, it'd be easy for me to slip off and, like, you know, kill myself with a bottle of tequila or whatever, right? But it's like, that would affect a lot of fucking people. That's incredibly selfish from my point of view, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I'm not trying to knock anybody who's, you know, taking their own lives, because I don't know what
I've lost friends of that.
I don't know what kind of stress would cause you to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not speaking from a place of experience, but, like, from my point of view, like, I know that would affect so many other people, right? It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
And it would cause so many other problems around me. Like, I don't know. I always take that in consideration when I'm going through any kind of a low point. Like, man, I could, like, just go on a 3-week bender and fucking go off the deep end.
Go off the wall.
Right?
Yeah.
But what if I never come back?
Right.
What if my kids find me or got to bail me out of jail? It's like, Pops, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
You're all fucked up. You got a needle in your arm. You still got booze on your breath. Like, what the fuck were you doing? It'd be embarrassing, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, these kids have been looking up to me their whole lives, and they're looking at you like at your lowest point. Like, do you want them to see you like that? Nah, man. I'd rather sit home, sit in front of the TV quietly and kind of sit with my feelings and my emotions and figure out how to press forward.
How do you cope with it? Because I know last time you were saying you wanted to get into Muay Thai.
Yeah, actually, that's been a lot of fun, bro. I've been doing that since
I was going to ask you, have you get into that?
Yeah. Funny, because right when I walked in, you were talking about doing this AI thing. You're learning how to do all the production.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I'm getting ready to be 40 years old, and Muay Thai is not in my wheelhouse. But it's something I'm learning brand new. And it's fun because I'm getting to spend time with my son. He's a fighter, mixed martial artist. So he's at the gym every time I'm there. I mean, he's there fucking 6-7 days a week,
yeah,
right? Always at the gym.
That's inspiring.
So when I show up, he's there. No matter when I show up, he's there. So yeah, we do the classes together, and you know, he's got tips and pointers for me. Hey, pops, you got to rotate your hip. You got to fucking, you know, you got to whip the leg, this and that. And
because you've never done any kind of martial art.
So I did a little bit of boxing in the Marines.
Okay,
right, and so I had a little bit of a boxing background. I originally wanted to do boxing at that gym because the dude who teaches the boxing is my son's coach.
Right.
And so we've got a working relationship. I know the dude, he's a good cat. And I wanted to do the boxing because I know it's good exercise. I got a background in it. I kind of know what's up.
Yeah.
His boxing schedule didn't work with my schedule. I'm trying to learn to weld right now. I'm welding 2 days a week during the week. And so I told my son, I said, all right, well, what's available around 4:30, 5:30, Monday and Wednesday? He said, Muay Thai. So I guess Muay Thai it is, man. Like, you know, I ain't never scared to learn something new.
Right.
And as you get older, it's kind of good to be learning new things. It's good for the brain. It's good for the body, right?
Yeah.
So I got into it, and it's kicked my ass a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
You're now implementing your legs, a whole different tool into a fight.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'll tell you
man.
what, if I'm gonna fight, I'm throwing my leg first,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I'm a Spartan
And
kick.
it's funny because, you know, I'm a little bit heavier. I'm a little bit older. I'm a construction worker. Like, my hips were really fucking stiff.
Yeah.
So those first couple classes, like, I couldn't barely kick past the waist. And now all my back pain has gone away. My hips feel really loose and like flexible. I can kick like almost shoulder level now.
You're probably waking up those flexors that you didn't use in a long time.
All that stuff that was tight, that was causing my back pain, is now loose and relaxed, and like, I sleep a lot better.
But it's funny how weight distribution and transferring and turning and the hip, like you said, dude, you understand more about where the power comes from.
Yeah.
And it's like the cheater bar. You
Right.
know, when they use the cheater bar and you see all that leverage and torque.
Yep.
You have that. We
That's
have
exactly
that.
what it is.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
huh?
mechanical advantage.
Yeah, exactly. So when you start adding that, when I sparred with just straight boxers, it's frustrating.
Right.
It's frustrating. This guy's got hands, dude. I'm like, how do I open this guy up?
Yeah.
He's in a box and he's boxed in and he
Tight.
made, super tight. And he made the target of that point of breaking through that very narrow.
Right.
So you can't touch him.
Yep.
But once we start implementing legs,
Now it's a different game.
kick that little front leg out,
sir.
open you out, drop
calf
that left. Here comes the jab,
Yep.
front kick center. You know,
Yes.
you have a lot of combos now. And then it becomes more real life too, because out there, man, some guy's gonna square up, but you come out, you just kick that knee out of
Yep.
him you know,
Yep.
to create a distance. You're
Yeah.
using that leg.
Yeah.
That's exactly what a striker will tell you. Or like
Right.
if you're doing Muay Thai, that front leg is like a jab
Right.
in a sense. So you're like using that to create distance,
When I
jab
was
it.
learning boxing, they taught me, you know, a good jab will take you around the world.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You create distance, you create pace, you kind of feel your opponent out there. A good jab is going to take you around the world, right? And Muay Thai, the instructor just told me the other day at the gym, he goes, a good 1-2 kick will take you around the world. You got to have that rear
Bread
leg
and
kick,
butter.
whack.
Yeah.
Whack, because that leg kick hurts, bro. You catch it
Start
right
chopping down the
right
tree.
above,
Yeah.
below the knee, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't put weight on it anymore. And now my stance is all fucked up. Now my defense is all fucked up. Oh, dude. Like you said, chopping down the tree, right?
Chop down the tree,
Yeah.
man. That's what every time when I was doing Muay Thai, that's what they would tell us.
Yeah.
Literally, when we were doing like the low leg kicks,
Yeah.
and even though you're holding that pad for your partner,
It still goes all the way
dude,
through.
it's still giving you a little bit of impact. I'm an orthodox stance, so then I'll do like the front right. So if you're standing mimicking my stance,
Right.
I would be kicking your inner knee little on the inside
Yeah.
with this one, and then power kick the outside knee with my right.
Right.
So all I'm doing is chopping both sides.
Yeah.
Or getting closer, pop, pop, and then boom, here comes the top. But it's always like at an angle. They would always tell us like when you're kicking,
Come down.
come down with it. You know?
I heard just talking about it, bro.
Oh yeah. You've made a really good solid connection when
Yeah.
you feel it. When
Yeah.
you feel that.
You can hear it. It sounds
yeah.
different. It's
It
like,
sounds
Oh,
dude.
my God.
It's like a
Yeah.
whip, dude.
Yeah.
That's how they would say, hey, whip.
yes.
But then you're creating distance. You could kick out a knee, start breaking in that front end because now
Right.
you can't put weight on it. You're
Yep.
weaker. That's interest of point of entry. So now I can like shoot to do like the close combat, take it to the ground,
Right.
and then implement jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You got to get into jits, man.
I know. I'm looking forward
Get
to it,
into
man. I wanna do
jits,
it. I
dude.
wanna
That
do it.
doesn't matter any size. I've seen like
Yeah.
people all sizes, all weights and heights.
Right.
Just killers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sharks, bro. You get on the ground and it's like
they do a jiu-jitsu class where I'm doing Muay Thai right after my Muay Thai class. But by the time I get done with Muay Thai, I'm so fucking exhausted,
dude.
bro.
That's one or the other. You can't do both.
So I just started running again. I'm doing 2 miles a day, that's like 5 days a week, 6 days a week. So my cardio's at the level now where I think I might try jiu-jitsu here in like the next 2 weeks.
You should, man.
Because I want to. I really want to.
Get into it. I think
my son's been having a blast since he started doing it. And you know, I watch all the UFC fights on the weekends, and like it's a really like fundamental skill, fundamental, right?
Dude. Yeah.
In mixed martial arts, and again, it's good exercise. I don't want to compete. I got no desire to compete whatsoever.
Yeah, not to compete, just to.
I fight strictly for the exercise, for the workout. And yeah, jits is a whole different workout, dude.
Mental clarity.
Yeah, the grip, the forearm strength, the hands, right? The core strength, the back strength. Like it's a whole different level of exercise.
It's chess. It's working out. It's like a physical workout using chess.
Yeah.
I think you would love jiu-jitsu, dude.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All the guys at the Muay Thai gym are like, hey, you should stay for jiu-jitsu.
Especially because
I want to, but today's not the day.
Especially you have that like that construction man strength. You know what I mean?
The old man strength's a real thing too, bro.
Hell yeah.
I get to that age where like my hands got some grip that didn't used to have, you know?
It's like grab rebar with these
suckers. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I've been wanting to do it since I started Muay Thai. But I just didn't feel like my cardio was there.
Right.
And so here in the next couple of weeks, I think I'm gonna start at least once a week staying for jits.
Has that been like coping mechanism though to like now to kind of release it, stress reliever?
Yeah, I think I was telling you last time I was here. Sports have always been a big point of stress release for me. I did sports. My mom had 3 boys. Yeah. So she forced us into sports. Get all that energy out. So when you're home, you sleep and you don't make too much noise, right?
Right.
And so going from sports into the Marines into like my life now, like sports has always been a way to kind of like shake all that stress out, get that anxiety out, right?
Yeah.
And when you're physically exerting yourself, I love powerlifting, lifting heavy fucking weights. You come out of the gym after a heavy lift, and you catch your breath, and it's like a whole world kind of melts away, right? It's like, yo, I just want to eat and go to sleep. Nothing else matters. Nothing can piss me off.
Nothing
can irritate me, right? And fighting is very similar in that sense, like when you're really out there sparring, and you're really rolling, and you're really exerting yourself to the max, you leave that gym, and it's like, hey, bro, leave me alone. I just want to go.
I'm
good,
go home and eat something. I'm good, man. Dude, we'll be training in the morning, and choking each other out, pretty much trying to put our lights out.
Yep.
And we're just hanging out on the weekends after. We're just good buddies. It's like, dude, I could have killed you on the floor. You know what I mean? It's like that's what I love about it is that we're all a good group of training partners, right?
Right.
And we're literally trying to put each other's lights out.
Yep.
We're hanging out, watching the UFC fight, laughing, and you know, it's like, but we all know that as soon as one guy gets a little more sugar in the tank, then it's like, oh,
here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home now. It's about to turn to someone's gonna be outside in the front. Come on,
no shirt,
tap me out.
Yeah, no shirt, screaming, yelling. There we go.
That happens, dude. That happens. Yeah. That's wild. A quick shout out to Helios Tattoo Supplies, one of the newest sponsors for the podcast. I'm proud to be a sponsored pro team member using their needles on the daily. Next time you're thinking about stocking up on supplies, head over to the website heliostattoos.com. Thanks again to Helios for sponsoring myself as an artist and sponsoring the pod. I'm curious what tattoos have stood out to you in the industry, because I'm sure breaks or you guys are working, because you said you've noticed other people's tattoos. Now having them, you're like, hey, I'm starting to notice other people's tattoos, or they notice yours. What have you seen from the good to the bad, dude?
Man, I got some stories about the bad ones, bro.
I'm curious. I want to like pull some up.
Yeah, I've got some bad ones. I got some some garage tattoos. I was telling you last time I was here, actually. That's what I'm here for today, is to do a cover up.
Oh, yeah.
I knew this cat, and he's a good dude, right? I'm not going to put his name out there. Yeah. He's a good dude, all around good dude, but he just was not a real artist, right?
Gotcha.
Tattooed out of his living room for a couple extra dollars here and there. At the time, I was just trying to cover as much canvas as I could, and I let him do a little too much work, man. And like, the more good quality studio work I get, the more those bad tattoos stand out.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, that shit really looks bad. The lines are terrible. The shading is terrible. And it's like, but on the flip side of that, every time I get a big tattoo, I realize how much canvas there is to cover.
Oh, yeah.
Before I saw you last time, I got my inner forearm done, big piece. Mm-hmm. And it was a good sized tattoo, and I got done with it.
You got that out at
in Modesto.
Modesto.
Yeah. And I looked at my arm, and I was like, yo, I still got a lot of like bare space. Like, it's a big ass tattoo.
Dude, look at that banger though, dude. Look at that.
Oh
man.
That shit looks so dope.
That's so
I'm so happy with it.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed because I can't see it, bro. It's on the back of my arm.
I know.
I really got to do this shit in the mirror or do one of these to look at it.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite ones.
That's
probably
dope.
my favorite one.
That's
bro.
a sick piece,
Yeah,
man. I was like,
that was
all
a lot
that.
of fun.
I'm stoked what we're gonna do today.
That was a lot of fun.
But so in the industry, what have you seen that's like really been like, my boy, what did you do? You know, like if you see
Yeah.
another guy, if you talked, and because even us artists, well, after or during a convention, if we're setting up or if we go out to eat all together as artists, we'll sometimes laugh about, oh, this guy's got a, you know, whatever tattoo.
Yeah.
And we're just
I've seen like some really bad portraits. Or like the same generic ones people get over and over again, right? Like the praying hands with the rosary.
Is
like
it backwards, like 3 fingers?
Yeah, bro. The fingers are all crooked and shit. And it's like, yeah, I see like some really bad stuff. And you can tell, right? If you got a big collection, first of all, if you have a big collection, you've got a couple bad tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're not lying to anybody, bro.
You gotta.
If you got a lot of
pay
tattoos, you got a bad one somewhere,
right?
But like I said, the more quality studio work you get, like the more those bad ones stand out. Like, hey, bro, your homie did that in the backyard, huh?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't go in and see a professional for that. I could tell, bro. There's too many fingers on that hand. Like, it don't work. You know what I mean? Or it's like disproportionate or like poorly cut, the shading, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's like a black blob. It's like, oh, it was supposed to be a flower. It was supposed to be a tiger. It was supposed to be, and it's like, yo, all right, that's cool, man. You don't want to fucking like hurt their feelings, right? And it's like, just a blob of ink, bro. And it's like,
because I got
no space to talk because like I said, I got a couple
we
bad
all,
ones too, right?
We all have some, some bad bangers.
Yeah, for sure.
That's some stuff that's crooked, you know?
Yeah, bro. And especially like the main thing is like the shading, right?
Right.
The shading, like you could tell a professional who did an apprenticeship, who's been tattooing for years, versus like I said, somebody who's tattooing out of their garage or their living room or their backyard. It's like, damn, bro, that shit don't blend right. Like it's two like really opposite colors. Like there's no fading in and out.
It's funny because you kind of have an eye for it too, right? You like now you're like, I'm getting tattoos. And like I'm going to like the shops now.
Yeah.
And I'm not really, you know, so you're kind of now you could kind of
one thing I've noticed is like when I see fresh tattoos, like a tattoo that's been done in the last like 7-8 days by a professional, I'll stop people in the street. Hey, that's a badass tattoo, bro. Who did that for you? That shit is fly. Compliments to the artist. That shit looks good, right? You see really good color application, really sharp lines, really bright, vibrant like images. I'm like, yo, that's a professional tattoo. Like compliments to the artist.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a dope art piece you're going to have forever, right?
Yeah.
I'll stop people when I see them and we'll talk a little bit shop.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm not at all, I'm not the kind that knocks on. I'm like looking at all these bad tattoos right now. I want to show you a few, but I'm not that kind of person. I've never been that way where it's like people come in and they'll show me their tattoos.
Yeah.
And because they want me to cover them.
Right.
there's a blue M&M, bro.
Damn.
Dude, this is so good though.
That's terrible.
It's a portrait, but it's a blue M&M.
It looks like Eminem though. That's hella funny, bro.
I'm gonna save that to show everybody.
That's hella funny.
But I have one to show you. Do you have any tattoos that represent the industry? Like your industry, the construction? That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to see if I can find some.
No, not yet. I've been thinking about doing one, but I'm not.
What would you get?
I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. Not really sure, man. Because you would want something that's not too cheesy,
right?
But also something that really kind of like.
Oh yeah, Milwaukee on the ribs?
Epa!
Bro, are you down or not?
Not even a little bit, bro.
Oh,
not at all.
I think all right. We're gonna do a Milwaukee on you.
Hell no. On the eyebrow,
what about those bad boys of construction, iron workers? Would you get that? Would you get a piece like that?
That one's terribly done, bro.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. I've never knocked on. Look, I've never, for the record, I've never knocked on tattoos. People come in, and they're like, hey. Like, for instance, the cover up. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell them and I'll ask them, when'd you get it in the story?
Right.
But if I see one out in public, I'll do like, if they ask for the suggestion.
Yeah.
If they're like, yeah, can you cover this? And with what? Or they'll say, what is it missing? You know, because I've seen all the, I've seen all the, like, you can name it. But I was curious because I know some guys.
I've seen some funny ones in construction. I saw a dude who had eggs and bacon on his hands. He said in case he got to serve somebody some breakfast, right? I saw a dude who had channel lock pliers tattooed on his fingers. He's like, yo, my hands are pliers, bro. I got the grip.
Yeah, that's
like,
the one you get.
Bro,
that's the one you get
bro.
when you're in Denver for a 2-week vacation. You're to come back and be like, guess what? I got vice grips.
Yeah, I've seen some really funny ones, bro.
Check this out, dude. I'm curious what you think of this. Oh, baby. Crane back piece.
Crooked ass crane that thing's gonna fall, bro. Damn.
They said, I live about that life. I'm curious, though.
You know, when I see stuff like that, it makes me feel not so bad about it. Because I got some bad ones too, bro. I'm not going to show them right here on camera, but I got some bad ones too, bro. We can look at them later. Like, all right, man, I get it, right? Like, I understand sometimes, especially when you're first starting out and you just want to cover canvas, right? And, my boy tattoos, right? How many times have you heard that? Oh, my partner tattoos.
Right.
All right, man, let's go get something done.
Yeah.
And you get it done. It's like,
to this
man,
day,
I fucked up.
I had a client that...
fucked up.
Bro, I had a client that I tattooed the son, and the mom brought him in here, and the mom gets tattooed by some homie though.
Right.
And I even asked the client, I was like, hey, why does your mom just hit me up?
Right.
It's like, I was like, I know it's not like the hookup thing. I think it's one of those things where it's like, he's tattooed my husband, my family, but my son wants a good, nice tattoo or something, so I want to take him to a shop.
Right.
I was like, I get that, but I look at this crane tattoo. I kind of want to find out, does she operate a crane? Because that's legit. That's like holding some.
Yeah, you got to be an operator or something. What would be the motivation, right? Like,
that's wild. That's what I'm curious.
Every tattoo's got a story, right? They don't all mean something. I've had dozens of people ask me, oh, what do they mean?
Yeah.
Like, every tattoo doesn't necessarily mean something, but they all got a story, right? It's something intentional you did to your body. You went out of your way and you sat down with somebody and had them do that for you, right?
Right.
It's not something you just do on accident.
Yeah.
So they all kind of got a story. What's the fucking story behind that?
What about this ace?
Damn.
I don't even know what that is on the bottom. But this was in the construction field. Somebody in the some construction worker has this.
Damn.
Ace, but there's K's?
Yeah, it says ace in the middle of the spade.
That's
K's
weird,
in the
huh?
corners.
That's different, huh?
And then the diamond.
What kind of poker are you playing,
They're
bro?
missing the clubs still and the heart. Maybe that's a heart behind the two hearts or something.
What's going on?
Damn, bro.
What's going on, guys?
Damn, bro.
Dude, hit me up. Let me help you.
And I know, you know what? I know a lot of it, especially like if you don't have a whole lot of tattoos, you're looking for a deal, right? and you see it in every shop nowadays. Like, good tattoos are not cheap, and cheap tattoos are not good, right?
Yeah.
And when you're first getting started, you're like, I don't care. I want a cheap tattoo. It's easy. Oh, it should be anybody could do it, right? And then you have anybody do it, and it's like, damn, that was an easy tattoo, and you still fucked it up. Like, maybe I should see a professional next time, right?
It's pretty crazy, man. I'm just thinking, like, some guys, I've seen the union worker stuff, you know, like the union.
Yeah, you got like union logos. That's cool, you know, sometimes.
Yeah, the Harley Davidson tattoos, because a lot of guys have Harleys.
Right.
Yo, check this boy out. Oh, yeah, look, he's got this brows, and he's got the Hogan going on.
Damn. Bro, people just make bad life decisions. Homie.
All right, if you work in the union and this homie pulls up to you and he's like,
I'm gonna ask him about it, bro, straight up.
Like,
I'm gonna ask him about it.
So it says, from your ex's face to where it's gone wrong.
It might not be first day, right? But after we've been working together for a little bit, I'm like, all right, bro, I know you know this question's coming. Why?
I think it says,
why the handlebar mustache tattoo?
Dude, that's like Hogan at its finest. Oh, it gets better though. Look at all these. This is probably your union crew, no?
Damn, bro. No, those are iron workers, bro. Pipe fitters don't do that shit.
I was gonna say, is there a difference? Yeah. Is there a difference?
No, actually, that's been a lot of fun working in the trades. Is that you get like a little bit of a inner trade rivalry, and you get that in the military. So it's like a real familiar thing for me, right? Like the Army and the Navy and the Marines and the Air Force, they all kind of have like their own little rivalries within them, right?
That's
and
crazy.
you get that in the trades, like the plumbers and the fitters. Like, we're kind of one industry, right? But we kind of got our own
little
funk,
rivalry,
right? But then when you get the electricians and the iron workers in the mix, all of a sudden we're one thing and fuck you guys, right?
Yeah.
And then the iron workers and the electricians got something against the drywall guys, and they got something against the rebar guys, and they got something against the concrete guys, and so it's like it's all friendly, right?
Yeah.
Because on the job, like, hey, we're all here to get some shit done, and when we work together, it looks fucking fantastic.
Pull that building together.
But inside, while the building's getting built, like, we got some shit to say.
Yeah.
It's funny, bro. It's funny as fuck sometimes, dude.
You guys got those shots to fire at each other.
Yeah. It's like, I was working with this welder recently, and he told me a joke. And it's funny because he's a fucking welder.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, what do you tell somebody with an IQ of 4? said, what? He goes, nice weld.
Oh,
bro, that's just hilarious, bro.
Have you
That's
seen
too
those
funny,
the wannabe welds that are like they're using that welding? It's kind of like an epoxy.
Yeah.
And they just make it look like it's dimes.
Yeah.
And then they like spray paint it.
Yeah,
And they're
that shit's
like,
terrible,
that
bro.
looks like a weld. Like that's
Yeah, but it's
straight
not gonna hold, bro.
silicone, homie.
It's not gonna hold, though,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. That's terrible. That JB
Yeah.
weld, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
No, and then you know what's funny too? I like pipe welding it's a fucking science. It's art, bro.
Oh, it is.
And I work with some badass fucking pipe welders, and you look at their welds, it's like, yo, that shit looks like, you know, somebody fucking did it with a fine tip #2 pencil.
Yeah.
And then you see like some iron workers, and pipe has specs, right? It's got to carry some type of a fluid through it, whether it be hazmat, whether it be water, whether it be whatever, right? It has to hold, it has to have some integrity, right?
Yeah.
When you're putting iron together, steel beams, you know, it just doesn't have, you can't slide out of place.
Yeah.
And so you see these shitty looking welds, and it's like, damn, I guess it's not going to come apart, but like they don't care how it looks, right?
Yeah.
Like, bah, they stitch weld it where it's got to be stitch welded. It's like, damn, bro, you didn't put no kind of pride into that at all. Pride for what, man? It's going to be covered by a floor and rebar and concrete and this and that. It's like, yeah, but still, don't you want to know that you did a good job underneath all that?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
they
maybe.
just put a plate, melt it. You
Yeah,
know?
bro.
And
And
making some sandwiches.
and
you
when
know
you're
what I mean?
welding pipe, like it can't look like that, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's got to fucking hold under pressure.
It's a cylinder. It's like there's stuff running through it, like you said. There's a lot of pressure. Imagine the PSI and the
Oh yeah, especially for steam, bro. Like you're talking about
like
hot
some of those
temperature,
silos, dude,
lot of
that
pressure.
carry a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Any little weak point,
right. Pop. Yep.
you know. So what about any of these young cats getting into this, or anybody that comes up to you like on the job and they come up and they say, "Hey man, how long you been doing this?" "Oh, 11 plus years or whatever." What kind of advice would you give me? What would you say to this cat that's like,
it's not for everybody, bro.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. Like I said, there's like a negative connotation to union work. Like they protect lazy people, and there's a little bit of that in the industry. But like if you're gonna come in and do this, come in and fucking do this, right? Because I take pride in what I do.
Yeah.
And when I get done with a project, if it looks like shit, like that don't sit right with me, right?
Right.
So if you're gonna be out there doing what I do, make us look good.
Yeah.
Right? Do it to the best of your
Hey, you
ability.
said that about the guys that are doing the whole, they retire and then you're
Right.
paying their pension.
Right.
And it's like, but they don't want to tell you.
They don't want to teach you.
They kind of want to gatekeep.
Yeah, they don't want to mentor you. They don't want to like, show you the tips and the tricks and kind of show you the ropes. And it's
That's
like, bro,
crazy, dude.
I'm here to replace you so you can enjoy your retirement, bro.
Keep me
enjoy
going.
your grandkids, right? Enjoy your
Yeah.
family. Like you put 25, 30 years into this. Go enjoy your family, bro. I got this from here. But like, help me out on your way out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep me going so I can
you
keep
got
you
some
going.
knowledge that I need, right?
Right.
Especially if you got somebody who's been doing, you see it to this day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tattooers who have been doing this 30, 40 fucking years. Like, bro, you've seen some shit I might not ever see that might be helpful to what I'm doing day to day.
Right.
Like, kick down some knowledge, bro.
That's what's
Kick
our
down
job
some knowledge, big homie,
as mentors.
right?
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
mentor, because then you've become a mentor for some people.
Yeah.
And so as a mentor, you kind of have to educate these people and be like, look, no one else is going to teach you this.
Right.
Let me show you something that, that's going to be iconic for your life, or this is going to be very helpful, or an extra,
One thing I tell guys, man, is because like constructions are very much like a stop and go type of thing, right? Some days you're going hard for 2 months, 3 months, like 10 hours a day, and you're working all 10 hours, right? And some days like you're getting paid to chill at the bar, with the boss for 2-hour lunch, like, all right,
Kush.
But when it's time to go, fucking let's go. Get off your ass. Like, don't wait for somebody to tell you there's shit to be done. If you really can't find something, ask one of the older homies.
Yeah.
Like, we got work for you. Let's do something. Right?
Absolutely.
Let's
There's
get it
always
done.
something to do on the job site.
Yeah.
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 It's
Yeah,
incredible,
because, when it's time to go, man, like, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Like, the pay is nice. Hanging out with the homies is cool. Getting beers on the company card is cool. But we're here for a reason. Don't forget why we're here.
Right.
Let's get this shit done. Right?
It's like you're saying, like, when you just saw something as just a job
Yeah.
and not thinking that weight of what's really going on, that your position of what you're doing in the aircraft mechanics field, it's
Yeah.
like you're young in that mindset. And as
Taking
you
pride in what
grew,
you're doing, for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and it really is a gift, bro. Like it translates to all areas of your life. When you're working with your hands, like I said, when you're fixing things and building things, that translates to all kinds of shit. You never your spatial recognition and like the way you see geometry, like it translates, right? It translates big time to every area of your life, and it's like you kind of gotta you got to appreciate that for what it is, man.
Right.
Really like soak it in. You know?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's legit, man. I appreciate that, brother. Let's I know we did this recording before our sesh.
Yeah.
But this has been Tattooing Out Loud. This is usually what our convos look like. And we're probably going to still talk about some more crazy stuff after this.
Coming up. I got some bad tattoos to show you, man.
Oh, yeah. We're about to strip this guy down, he said. But this has been dope, man. I appreciate
it's been fun, man. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you being...
My very first podcast, man.
I was going to say, you ever
I
done
didn't think I
like
was that
this?
interesting, bro. No.
You've been part of the community, part of the shop community here, and it's been rocking with me since I met you, man. We've been doing I'm excited to see. We're going to break down what we want to do too today. And I want to just fill in a lot of the things and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, since day one, man, this has been great. The more I just get to know and talk, man, and I launched this project, I was like, Lalo's for sure, man. He's going to, because it's not just another client, man. It's the stories and what brought you here, what kept you going, and what you're wearing on your arm is something that, you know, it's a lot of people wear their story on their arm or wherever the case may be, or they don't care to show it. There literally is a lot of things you can relate to, like everything from this building structure. Someone had to hear a lot of this. Yeah. Where you are in life right now, man, and the things that you pulled up to my shop with a brand new truck, no miles. Yeah. And that, to me, I saw you at like where you thought was your peak. Yeah. But yet now, from that point here, there's a higher peak. Yeah. And that's what we got to keep doing, man. Yeah. So stoked for you because I knew that you're like, I've never owned anything new. You know what I mean? Yeah, brand new. He's like, I've never owned anything with no miles.
No, it's funny. It's funny you say that. It's like, especially as you get older, right? You have to continue to enjoy your peak when you're there, right? Yeah. Because when good things happen to you, it's important to stop, celebrate, drink it in, right? Right. But eventually, you want to make that peak just another step. Yeah. To another peak, right? You got to keep chasing something. Yeah. And I think that's how we stay sharp mentally. Mm-hmm. I think that's what keeps us going as men in this world. Like let's find something else and chase that. Right. Let's do some more.
That's monumental, man.
Let's keep going.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Excuse us. We're gonna get on this tattoo session.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in to this next episode. One of my good clients here, and be able to tell his story and convey some moments that really just set him who he is. With that said, man, catch you guys on the next one. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace. All right, man.